Hi, it's Lisa from Sounds of NorCal, and I am here with California Riot Act for our, can't remember what number this is of the sofa sessions. Fifth, fourth, third, somewhere in there. I don't know. But anyway, happy to have you guys here. Thanks for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about California Riot Act and the other band members who aren't with us today and kind of what your music's like?
Well, California Riot Act is a rock band, pretty straightforward, not too heavy, but loud. We have a drummer. He's not here. His name's Nate. He's awesome. We're kind of in the kind of middle ground, kind of Foo Fighters, Soundgarden kind of sound. Play all over the place, do all sorts of fun stuff. Just played in Chico on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. It was a long set, and we ended up pulling out a lot of weird stuff. But either way, it was a lot of fun. Long drive. You got anything to add there?
Well, I think Travis was talking about influences last time we met.
Oh, yeah, like he said, we're kind of sound like, Soundgarden and Foo Fighters, but we also have kind of a 70s rock feel to it, too.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Pink Floyd and Neil Young and all that fun stuff. It's like all those cool bands had a baby, and we came out. And I was the best-looking one. Yes.
Cool. Well, hi, Nate. Sorry you can't be here. So you are a three-piece band, and Travis will touch on that a little bit later about the difference between playing in a three-piece band and playing with, full, chorus, orchestra, horn section, backup singers, whatever it is. So it does kind of tend itself to lend itself to being a more kind of loud but stripped down sound. Would you say that is agreeable?
I don't know that it would necessarily be stripped down. We make a pretty serious wall of sound. I actually use a pedal called the Electro Harmonix B9 that turns my guitar signal into like a Hammond organ kind of signal. And so that fills up a lot of space. He's really laying down just big root basic notes that kind of make a foundation. I wouldn't really necessarily call it stripped down because it's definitely a lot of sound. There are tricks that we use to kind of get around, bits and pieces where it might sound stripped down. A lot of octave pedals and things like that kind of make a difference in, how full things sound. It's definitely, there are limitations to playing in a three-piece that you have to work your way around.
You only have to deal with three people's egos.
You do only have to deal with three people's egos, and since Nate is the only really good person in the band, he's really easy. And then, Travis just does whatever I say because I have blackmail material on him.
After a lengthy friendship, and Nate's getting all the props today. Go, Nate. So, talk about some of the songs. We talked about the favorite songs you might like to play, and you have multiple albums. So, talk about some of your recorded music and just, what you like to play when you're playing live.
I like to play all of them, obviously. Anything I don't like to play gets tossed, so it's pretty easy to just say I like everything because I do like all the stuff that we do. A lot of my stuff is definitely really personal, kind of, throwing it out there, coded, but, you can kind of hear what's going on through it. So it's not really a matter of liking anything better than anything else, although there are things that are certainly more fun to play, like some of the really heavy stuff, some of the stuff that's in drop D. You get that big, fat, down tune kind of sound, and it's always a lot of fun to play. So, what do you think?
You have a favorite, Travis?
Do I have a favorite? I don't really know, because usually my favorite's normally whatever the newest song is, because we haven't played it as much, which I guess would be Stupid Games. Although we are working on a cool new song on our new album, which we're going to be recording, what is it, next month, right? Oh, we should probably start writing some songs then. Yeah, okay. So, surprise, we're recording a new album.
This has been Stump the Band. So you've got a show coming up next Friday, the 15th. It's kind of an acoustic thing. Is it the 8th? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's the 8th. I'll get back on track here too. So is an acoustic thing something that you like to do, something that you throw in on a regular basis?
It wasn't up until fairly recently. We just kind of stumbled into one, about 6 months ago. And it was weird, and it was kind of uncomfortable, but it was a lot of fun. And since then, we actually just kind of started doing a bunch more of them. It's kind of neat playing things a different way. You kind of have to adapt to not having that big wall of sound behind you, and so everything just kind of comes out more raw. And it's kind of cool to not just obviously hear the songs differently, but be able to play them differently. Some of them kind of just take on new meaning. Others just sound cool that way.
You can actually understand the lyrics.
You can actually understand the lyrics. I don't do my whole Eddie Vedder mushmouth thing.
we get to play places we wouldn't normally play, like Logan's Roadhouse. I mean, who would have thought you would see bands at a steakhouse?
Yeah, Steve Mahoney definitely did a good thing there. And I'm really excited for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually playing with Riot Maker.
All ages, bring your family.
All ages, and it's going to be great. You should go.
I should, and I might just be able to. So I'll put you on the spot a little tiny bit. I was at the Y&T show at the Fillmore, and Dave Meniketti has been kind of prefacing this song for about a year with the same story about this horrible woman that was a girlfriend of one of the roadies or something like that. Anyway, the song's Mean Streak, and there's no holds barred. Have you ever written a song for somebody you really just can't stand?
Fair Weather Friend?
Yeah. Fair Weather Friend is definitely, that one is definitely about somebody that I have nothing good to say about. And listen to it. It's available on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon. Yeah, he knows exactly who he is. But that's kind of the thing, is most of my stuff is drawing from really personal experience. It's not like I'm just sitting there coming up with neat ideas about, this would sound really cool, or, these bunch of words go together really well. I mean, a lot of my stuff is kind of angry stuff. And so there are a few floating around out there that really I'm better off not discussing because they might piss some people off.
Well, that's what music is about. It's supposed to make you feel something, right? Whether it's you're pissed off or you're in love or, you're just relaxing on a nice spring day on a sofa in the suburbs. So, Travis, talk a little bit about, we talked a little bit about this before, but, how you fill the space on the stage as a member of a three-piece band, and, what difference that makes between the other band that you play in.
Well, a lot of it with three-piece band, the only difference, I guess, is structure, song structure. A three-piece band is not intended to be a jam band like Fish or something like that. So me as the bass player, I double as bass player and kind of rhythm guitar player at the same time. So I'm not going to bust out on like a Count Basie solo of awesomeness. I'm gonna try to stay as into the rhythm and the foundation of the song as I can to make the other two members look good. That's bass player's job. And any bass player that says that's not their job, they're lying. That's our job, is to make the lead guitar player and the drummer look better. That's just, if we didn't want to do it, we'd be guitar players and not bass players. So.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about kind of the Sacramento scene, and maybe you're heavily involved because you're also a sound engineer and manage most of the bookings up at Pistol Pete's. Talk about the arena going in, and what you see as I think a bright future in the music arena here in Sacramento.
I think that the arena has potential. I think it has potential to make some difference. More than anything, I think that right now what the music scene is lacking in Sacramento is major support. You've got, you obviously helping out a lot. The guys from V103, despite some setbacks, still really, they're doing a lot. But, that next tier up, I think really could be doing more. We have probably the best scene in town that we've ever had right now. As far as bands, I could rattle off a list as long as my arm of just unbelievably good bands. I've been in this scene for 20 years. It's, I've seen a lot. And I really can't tell you another time that there have been this many bands that were worthy of attention that really aren't getting a whole lot of attention, which, is not a slam on anybody. I don't think anybody should take it as, being insulting or anything. But it's a little disappointing to see that, the rock scene especially kind of tends to get a little overlooked, and I think it deserves more than that.
I think it gets thrown into one category.
It does. Yeah. It gets lumped together. But, my biggest fault probably as a human being is that I don't tend to keep my mouth shut about things, and, I have gotten myself in a little bit of trouble over that before. But, I just hope that, anybody watching this understands that my fondest desire really is just to see a major amount of support start to kind of come in and back the scene that we've got, because the scene that we've got is worth backing without a doubt.
There's a lot of good venues in town that we promoted better too.
Yeah, and that's really kind of what it comes down to, is just the overall promotion of things.
Well, you touched on something, Travis. I met Monday night with a couple of venue owner managers and some other people in the scene, and I was really pleased, and I mentioned this in a previous interview, that they do really support the scene and they'd like to do more, and it was nice to hear their perspective on it. And you have both sides, so you have more than both sides. He is 360. But also, Travis, you talked on getting lumped into a particular group, and I hate the word genre. I hate trying to identify a sound by that. But if you had to, what would you say is California Riot Act's genre?
We are fully like 70s rock and 90s rock. Had a baby. That would be us. But like a lot of times when people say like, are you in a rock band? They think you're thinking of just like, like, we're not that kind of band. We don't scream. We try to sing on key, but it's just, there's so many different categories. Like with the Sammys this year, there was like 9 bands in one category. It's just, you gotta break those off a little bit more. I mean, it's kind of hard to compete when there's so many freaking bands in one category. But
it's always been true. Everybody has a unique sound. Each band is going to have a unique sound. You guys are going to sound like California Riot Act and like nobody else. You're going to have influences that are similar across the board, but at the same time, So I'm a little bit. I disagree with you a little bit on that, because I think if everybody, I mean, if you lumped everybody under rock and just called it all rock and left it at that instead of, I don't know, alt rock, indie rock, thrash rock, then you get into the metal and hair metal and not, I don't even, yeah, it just, after a while, it's just like, just be you. Just go do your thing and be you. So, I don't know. I know the Sammys get kind of dissed a little bit for miscategorizing bands sometimes, especially over the past few years.
It's happened a lot, the miscategorizations, but overall, I do still really like the Sammys. It's nice to see bands getting recognized for the work they're putting in, and that's kind of how I look at it. Is that's one of the few events left that really does recognize the bands, and it really does honor the bands for the effort that they're putting in. Obviously, I'd love to take a Sammy home one of these years. That'd be great. But at the same time, just being included, for me, kind of, I don't want to say makes it all worth it, because I'm not doing this for a prize to put on my mantle. But it's a really good feeling knowing that you're making an impact, knowing that people get what you're doing and know who you are, and that you've had some success in putting yourself out there. And it only took us 15 years. But, really, the Sammys to me is nothing but a good thing. And, this is coming from somebody who has been vocal about things that I haven't thought were good things. But I really do appreciate the Sammys for what I feel like it is, which is not an art critique. It's really, to me, it's just recognition that you went out there and you busted your butt, you played shows, and you got your name out there, and you did the work. So that's what that is to me. And, so miscategorizations, whatever. Could it be done better? Anything could be done better. I mean, literally anything. Yeah. But for what it is, I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing, and I've always thought that, and I think it would be nice if there was something else in addition to that. Like, it's once a year, and sometimes that's not enough for everybody to get that acknowledgement and that little pat on the back. Yeah, you're doing a good job, and the scene's healthy, and everything's great. And it'd be nice to do something more than once a year, as far as acknowledging all you guys who are really working out there for little to nothing other than, hey, high five. So that said, let's spread the love a little bit. Why don't you give a shout out to an up and coming band that maybe somebody out there hasn't really heard of that's in the scene right now?
Well, my number one shout out is going to be Thunder Chief. I absolutely love that band. They're amazing. They're absolutely just incredible. They've got this weird, swampy, they're pretty amazing. We're actually playing with them a lot lately. They're a fellow Auburn band, which, kind of makes the whole thing feel really closer knit than it might have otherwise been. But yeah, Thunder Chief is definitely one to keep an eye out for. And then, you know how much I love Zen Arcadia. I wouldn't say they're up and coming because they've already been up and came. But they're... No comment. Whoa. Sorry, Dennis. But no, I make no bones about it. That's my favorite band in town. I think they've really just got the sound. And like I said, I could go on for a long time. So,
pretty much the same as his. I mean, I could just plug my other band, but I'm not going to do that. But the New Past. Check us out on Facebook. Anywho, but I like to just, what was it, a week and a half ago we played with On Off. I know they're not like enough, but I mean they're pretty good, and they were talking to us for a couple minutes, and as they walked away, I turned to Ben and I said, they fake those accents just to get women.
Well, either way, it works.
Where they can find your music, because I know you have several albums out.
Yeah, we've got 2 out right now on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. I mean, all the major digital outlets. We have hard copies of the CD that we have at shows. We have a YouTube channel, all under California Riot Act, obviously. If you go to the Facebook page, that's probably the easiest hub to find everything. You know, stuff gets posted on there, so it doesn't take more than a couple scrolls to find something. But yeah, if you want to stream it, you can go to Apple Music, Reverb Nation. You can stream it from there as well. So if there's an outlet out there for music, we're probably in there somewhere.
Cool. Anything else you would like to add before we go?
Take this mic from me before I say something about the midget.
What you're into, I'm not into, but I'd just like to say thanks for supporting, local music. Get out there to shows and buy bands T-shirts. This is the infamous Swinks, by the way, 4-time Sammy winner this year. But yeah, just thanks for coming out and having us on and all that fun stuff.
San Dimas High School football rules.
San Dimas High School football rules. All right, so check out California Riot Act this Friday at Logan's Roadhouse, an acoustic gig put on by Steve Mahoney, and look for more dates on the Facebook page. Oh, and we forgot about First Festival. Well, let's do a quick shout out for that before we go. So yeah, you guys are playing First Festival, and it's an amazing local 2-day festival, 43 local bands, and you guys are playing when?
We are playing the second day, second to last. And there may be a surprise or two, so it's worth coming out for.
Yeah. Well, it'll definitely be worth coming out for. We can bring our kids, the whole family. It's going to be a beautiful day in the park, and so we look forward to seeing you guys and you guys at First Festival. Thanks for being on the sofa. Appreciate it, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Awesome. Peace out, guys.